My name is Ludwig Siegele. I work for The Economist, and my job is to figure out how to use generative AI in the newsroom. So my goal is to get actually our journalists to use the technology more than they currently do. You know, everybody has their own kind of workflows or habits, and it's hard to break them. Another goal is to develop customer-facing applications, and we've done that. We've done that with translations, with HeyGen. I mean, informed in the sense that I did a lot of covering of startups. And so when I just got this job as senior editor AI initiatives, one of the things I did is kind of like, look, what are interesting startups that we could work with? And so that's how I came across HeyGen, and that kind of was a useful technology. We had videos, we wanted to translate videos. We wanted to try whether that's actually possible, use our videos to translate them in several languages and see what people would say. And so we did that, pumped a few videos through HeyGen, and it actually worked quite well. And so we decided to do it in a more structured way. So we don't have metrics other than views, of course, and they've been quite successful. Some of them had hundreds of thousands of views, and even more views than the English original. The way we use HeyGen is we take the videos we make for social media, Instagram, TikTok, and we run them through HeyGen. So HeyGen does a rough translation for us. So we take these and we translate these into 4 languages: German, French, Spanish, and Mandarin. And the way this works, you upload it and you get a proofread. So you basically get a raw translation. So we can kind of correct that, change it, and it's done by native speakers. And then we generate the videos. It's a pretty robust workflow. And it's that kind of possibility that you actually can change the raw translations, which made it possible for us to use HeyGen. Because other services, you just run it for the service, and you kind of at the mercy of the quality of their translation algorithm. So my first impression of HeyGen was that actually to see a video once for the first time is quite jaw-dropping. So I had a colleague of mine who is the US editor who doesn't speak French or Mandarin, and all of a sudden he could do that. And the mouth movements were changed in such a way that you didn't even notice that was the fact. And the tone of the voice was the same. So it's quite amazing when you see that the first time. So the experience of creating videos with HeyGen is actually easy, I would say, considering how complex the technology behind the service is. So you just upload the video and it does its thing, it does the translation, and we correct the translation, and then we generate the video. The way it was before, it was too expensive to translate them, so we didn't do that. So this became possible because it's not that expensive, at least in the greater scheme of things, to use HeyGen. And so before, that didn't exist. So that's an example where the technology combined with a service allows us to do new things. So the value is for us to find out whether there's interest in us becoming more of a multilingual publication. Because I mean, you could imagine why not do an Economist in Japanese or German. Before we had tried a few times to do that, kind of people translated The Economist in German, but that's always very expensive. Kind of you have to hire a lot of translators, you have to develop a workflow, you have to have a local partner, you have to do the marketing, and that makes it kind of a heavy lift and potentially a very expensive mistake if you get it wrong. With technologies like HeyGen, and it's not just HeyGen, there's also others that make translation easier. You can just try things, kind of do videos work, do translations of articles work, how good is the quality, how much work do we have to put in to make them really good. And that's one thing of all, it's technically possible. Kind of these models have proven to be good at switching between modalities, and they're getting better. That's one reason. But I also think that increasingly consumers want to be in charge, which is not necessarily an easy thing for us as The Economist, because The Economist by definition is we think editorial curation is important. We serve you the world, or we put together a magazine and we say that's how the world is this week or last week. And that's changing. So it's kind of, there's a subtle power shift between the publisher and the people who consume the content. So using HeyGen to produce professional videos is actually quite exciting, because you can kind of at the end say, I made this. I mean, it's in a way, it's not necessarily true. Kind of, you use tools, but it's still kind of it's the bicycle of the mind. It empowers you to do things you would otherwise not be able to do. So far, we've only used it to translate, but there are some experiments to use it for avatars. They're working on a series about liberalism, and so they use kind of pictures, old pictures of liberal thinkers, and kind of turn them into videos and avatars, and they explain the theory. What you can see when you're kind of in this field of media and journalism is that the future is multimodal. So right now we're a magazine, of course, it's print, we have videos, we also have podcasts. So it's we do have a lot of things, but what's happening is that things become much more multimodal. And by multimodal, I mean, as a publisher, you do things, perhaps you write an article, but then you convert it into a video and you convert it into some audio thing. So it becomes very fluid. So there's this concept of fluid content or liquid content, and that I'm quite excited about. So you do something once, an article or FAQ, and you can turn it into all kinds of forms of journalism and content. And that's pretty cool, because then in the end, it's going to be the subscriber, the reader, or the consumer, or whatever you want to call him or her, that determines how he or she wants to consume the content. So I came across HeyGen rather by accident, but I then went out and looked for other providers of similar services, and I just kind of compared and contrasted them. And in the end, HeyGen came out first, and I tried it, I mean, what was really important for us is to be able to change and improve the translations, the raw translations, and that was kind of the functionality with HeyGen that made me decide this is the service we need to use. So what I love about HeyGen is that they're very responsive if I need help with something. And I'm not an expert. I had to learn how to use HeyGen, and so I had many questions, but they were answered rather swiftly. So that was very helpful. The advice I would give somebody who's just started using HeyGen is just try it. Kind of get yourself an account, upload a video, set the languages, and kind of play around with the proofread function and see what you get. Just imagine you could upload a video of yourself and all of a sudden you spoke Japanese or Chinese, for that matter. It's amazing.